Okay, we're going to get started. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. My name is Gina Badality. In case you don't know me, I am the owner of EmbracingImperfect.com, a lifestyle blog for moms raising kids with challenging disabilities. And every Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern, I do a little Facebook Live on topics that I think are important. And I also want you to know that I specialize in kids who have autism, as my daughter has severe autism, and helping moms find solutions that can help them live a better life. So today we are going to talk about weaknesses. And the reason I came up with this topic is I work for an amazing couple, and they do a podcast, and they dropped a mention in their podcast recently that research shows that weakness, what people perceive as a weakness, may be hiding a hidden strength. So that really piqued my interest a lot. So I wanted to talk about that topic and see how I thought it was a really good topic, because in life we tend to fear our weaknesses and avoid them. But I think they are actually can be used for good. And I love that I couldn't find it. I did my best to find this research that was mentioned in the podcast, and I did not find it. But I thought it would be really cool to talk about how weaknesses bring out strength. And so that is today's topic. Let's get started. So welcome to today. If you have any questions, please ask. If you want to share this this broadcast, please go ahead and share it. Hi, Zoe. Come back later, okay? Uh-oh, here comes my daughter. You want to say hi?
Say hi.
Give me a kiss. Okay. All right, go downstairs and come back later. Okay, so take two. Today we are talking about weaknesses, how to deal with our weaknesses and how to turn them into a strength, and or how they might be hiding a strength. And I kind of came up with 4 areas that we could do this in, and I'm just going to share my own stories of weakness and how it was revealed. So how it revealed and turned into something better for my life. So when like I said, when we think about weaknesses, we kind of tend to freak out, especially like if you're American, like we don't like, or a woman, like we don't like to, or guys too, we don't like to admit that we are weak in a certain area. Now, of course, we all have our weaknesses and we all have our strengths too, but we like to focus on the strengths. And as growing up, as I learned, not growing up, but learned over the years as a mom, I always thought that, well, my kids have a lot of severe disabilities, but, let's focus on their strengths. And I never really liked to think about their weaknesses, but I think weaknesses can be really helpful. And this is the topic today, is how we can use our weaknesses, learn from our weaknesses, turning them into strengths, and maybe they're even hiding a hidden strength. So the first thing is weakness. A weakness could be a forgotten or abandoned strength. Now this is something that I think I'm 53. So like if you're younger, if you're like just out of high school, just out of college, you might not really have this yet, but as you go through and life throws trials at you, and it throws unexpected curveballs, and you get into, you go from just having a job to having a business, going just from being single to being married with children, like all these changes in your life add on a lot of difficulties and complications. And sometimes what we do is we forget to do something, and we get rid of doing this thing. It's too hard to do, or we might be perfectionists. It's too hard to do it perfectly anymore. So we don't do it anymore. And it might be something that used to be a strength for us, or we were working on making it a strength, but that we stopped doing it. And like, here's an example, laziness. So like when you become a mom, and I'm not saying that all moms are lazy, I'm speaking to you from my experience. So being a mom of 2 kids with extremely diverse special needs, wanting to run a business, other commitments that I had in my life, there were things that I gave up. I used to be very good at housekeeping, and I just kind of gave it up. There are things that I've been good at that I'm too tired and I became very lazy at it. I'm pretty good. I actually like folding laundry. It comes therapeutic, but there have been weeks that I've just gone weeks without doing it, and then it becomes a burden, and then it's just like, oh, I don't care about it, and then the next thing you know, you can't really do it anymore. You can't do it properly because you dropped it off your list, and that is a form of laziness, by the way. I'm confessing to you. It may not be a hard work ethic that you gave up. It may be something else that you gave up that you used to do when you were younger, or before you were a parent, or before this challenge came into your life, that you're not doing anymore. And now it's a weakness, and it's been a weakness for so long that you don't remember how to do it anymore. And so you're adapting it, you're calling it a weakness, even though at some point in your life you used to do it, and you probably used to do it well. And you've even forgotten the strength of the strain of that. So that could be that's one way in which it's a weakness, but it really isn't a weakness. It's just something you abandoned along the way, to the point where you forgot that it was ever a strength you had. So that can be one way that a weakness can be masking a strength. The second way is it could be a hidden strength. So I'm talking about something that you have never in your life tried, but you've always been curious about, you've always wanted to do, you've always been interested in. And so my example to you is my journey with fitness, which I was never fit in my life until I started at this gym at age 51. So that's me, my story. Your journey might be something else. I never liked fitness. I was the slow kid in high school. I couldn't do somersaults. I couldn't get a basket in if you tried. I couldn't do a pull-up or a chin-up. I fell all the time. I ran improperly with my feet in this kind of direction instead of straight. I tried skiing. I failed at that horribly. I don't bike ride. I can ice skate a wee tiny bit, but it kind of scares me. I can't roller skate. I can't swim. So, okay, the list is long. You get it. I have zero athleticism. To which I said that to some person who is a runner and who is a boot camp teacher, and she's like, athleticism has nothing to do with it. And I was like, what I'm calling athletic is the ability to do any sport whatsoever, or running or heavy duty exercise or anything like that. I've had periods in my life where I did exercise, but it wasn't until I did join the boot camp and then was in there for like a year, then I had like kind of an aha moment after my car accident and after eating dinner with the owner of the entire franchise. It kind of really changed my perspective, opened my eyes, and I started working really hard. And I discovered that I'm actually pretty good at working out. Like, I never knew this. I've had guys at the gym. I can do certain workouts really super fast, and like jumping jacks, I can churn out a jumping jack. I can do like 150 of them in like a minute. I don't know. Like, I can do certain things really fast, and once I understand the exercise and I build strength in it, then I can churn them out really fast. And I've had guys at the gym call me a beast, which I never in my life thought, it's like the highest compliment to me. But I never thought I could ever do that. I'm still working on some things. Like, I was considering being more of a runner. I don't think I'm talented more towards running. Endurance is still a real struggle for me, even after a year and a half. But I think I could lift more. And I really like... And when I look back in the times in my life when I've done something strength-wise and when I've been able to pick up something, when I was, when you have kids, you pick them up until they're like, I don't know, my kids, I was picking them up to like age 5. So I had a talent for picking up a kid who might be like 70 pounds in my 40s, right? So that, therefore, was a strength. I just never knew I had it because it was never displayed to me. Things were not taught to me properly. I never thought there was anything worthwhile in practicing running. Turns out you learn how to run just by practicing running with other people, and you see what they do, and then, you might read a couple of tips here and there. Someone might throw a tip at you now and again, and then you learn. And so for me now, working out is a strength that I never thought I would have. But I always thought it was a weakness. I always thought I will be unathletic all my life because when I was a kid, I preferred to read books than run, right? And so now, and today, actually, I was having an awesome time at the gym running. I felt really good. I haven't felt that great at the gym lately because it's been steamy and sweaty in there, and it's hard to work out when it's real steamy. But so that's something you should look into. Is there some kind of thing that you've been curious about or interested about maybe all your life, but you know it's a weakness, you know you're not going to be able to do that, but in reality you've never even really tried. And when I say try, I mean, you know, you didn't just try it one time and failed and flunked out. You really put yourself in an atmosphere where there are other people who are willing to help you. You looked up information on how to do it right. You threw yourself in there and did it, and you felt good about it. So something that's maybe in the back of your head peaked, something you've maybe felt envious of other people that they can do and you can't do. I would look into that and investigate it to see maybe that is a strength for you. Now, if something you think, you know, this would be a good idea, but I'm not good at it, and I don't know it, but I'm going to learn it, then it might, but you've never really had a passion for it, that's different, because I tried that with web design. For years I was running a web design business, hated it, never got good at it, and the only reason I found joy in my work was the day after I let it go. So and then after that I actually started becoming more successful at what I really do, which is write. So make sure you're not just doing it because, oh, this is a great thing to look into because I can make good money. That's not really an inner thing. But if it's something, you know, if you've always wanted to play basketball and you're too short, or if you've always wanted to take amazing photos, but you know, you don't have a camera right now, you know, start on your phone. You can do whatever you want. Even if you think everything is stacked against you, that might be a hidden strength. So go ahead, go out and try that thing that you haven't tried about before, that you've been curious about, that you've built up this negative, it's a weakness of mine. So that would be one way to, the second way to, that's the way to really find something that could be a strength that's inside you. And here's the other thing. When it's something inside you that's a strength and you have to walk up that hill to overcome it, like I said, I was at the gym a year before that little switch went off as into, you know, I can turn this into something, a quest for excellence in doing my workouts. Because you did all this hugely difficult work that you never thought you'd be able to do, when you start to hit accomplishments in it, you're going to feel so good about yourself, and it's going to motivate you to do more, to be more excellent, to go further. Because that's exactly what happened to me with my gym workouts. And, you know, all those achievements that I achieved in May with my 300th visit to the gym, 150 visits in 6 months, and earning the Troop of the Month award, and all that stuff came from me really kicking ass into, you know what, I now know I can do this. I now know I run faster. I've been told I run faster. I've been told I work out really hard. I've been told I'm good at this, because you put in that effort and you overcame those obstacles that you never thought you would overcome. It's so empowering, and it's I would recommend it for everybody, any age. Find something that you kind of curious about but you're not good at doing, or you built up the story in your head that you're not good at doing it, and do it. And when, you know, and set small goals. Don't go for, you know, I didn't go for 6 days a week when I first started out. I started out with 2 or 3 days a week. You know, I'm now going to have to only be going 2 or 3 days a week. So I asked my trainer for gym, for what I could do at home and what sort of equipment I could have at home, so that I'll be able to keep up and still do it at home. But do you know, shoot for what you can and build up your strength over time. Give yourself, you know, 6 months to a year to get good at it, or get adequate at it even. And if you went from not knowing anything to now being adequate, then you can go to being good, and then you can go to being excellent, and then you can go into, you know, maybe I could win awards for this. Maybe I could achieve more at this. So I would say go ahead and do that, and you're going to feel really great about yourself conquering that weakness. And the third thing is, You can also flip the script on a weakness or something that you perceive as a weakness. So I'm going to say, for example, this is like a lot of you who've been on job interviews for certain kinds of jobs, for a position that's going to be maybe have growth built into it or be maybe long-term. A lot of times you'll go on an interview and they will say to you, so what are your strengths? And then they'll go, what are your weaknesses? And what do you do about them? So it's always, I had countless interviews where they ask that question, and that's a really important thing to do. Oh, and by the way, here's a trick for anybody job hunting. If you when you're not job hunting, when you're settled in a job, you may be a job you even like, a job you feel comfortable with, a job you feel secure in, you might want to poke around and do a job interview or two, because when you're not really looking for a job, but you are in an interview, you have a level of confidence that you don't have when you desperately need a job in your interview. So that, I learned that along the way too. But if you're on a job interview and they ask you for what's your weakness, like we all kind of know, especially if we've been coached before the interview, that you know how to figure out before the job interview how to answer that question. What's that weakness, and how you turn around into a positive. So for example, for me personally, procrastination is a huge weakness for me. I'm always telling myself, oh, I procrastinate all the time. But when I think about it, for me, it's not so much the procrastination. I mean, the positive aspect of it is, I procrastinate because I work better under pressure, and I work better under pressure because I need structure, the structure of a deadline. So when I've had jobs and they've given me a project to write and they go, oh, have this in a couple of days, or yeah, get it back to me before the end of the month. Yeah, I'm going to write that on the 29th or the 30th. But if you give me a job and you say, I need these deadlines completed every Tuesday by 5 p.m. I've had plenty of jobs like this where this was the deadline. That's the absolute deadline. Or we're in base camp and she's just going to assign me a 3-day window to do the project. I'm going to do it in those 3 days because that is just me needing structure. I don't procrastinate. I do work better under pressure, but I also work better in structure. So I'm not looking at procrastination as a negative thing for me. It's a positive thing. It's not a positive thing, but it's got its positive flip side. Is I'm more productive under pressure. I'm more productive with structure. So I don't really, it's not so much that I procrastinate as that I need that, so, framework in place. So now if I were going after a job and the job is very rigid and they go, we use status reports, base camps, and blah, 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 I would be like, oh, well, that's awesome because I thrive under deadlines and pressure and structure. So I wouldn't, instead of saying, and if they ask me what's your weakness, I would say, well, I procrastinate, but really that's just a way of me looking for the structure that I would be, that you guys want me to have in this position. So when you're looking at your weaknesses, whatever it is, I just picked procrastination. So what is your weakness? Flip the script, So if you're like a person who gets very angry, you maybe want to, you do want to work on that anger. And you do want to think of it as channeling it. Oh, I'm tongue-tied today. Channel your anger into helping people, right? So you're angry about how people with disabilities are treated. Well, okay, that's good. Channel it, get into an R word campaign, or raise money for organizations that help people with disabilities, or hire someone at your store with a disability, that kind of thing. Channel that anger into something good to help those people. So, you can always flip your quote-unquote weakness. And then finally, the last thing is weakness. And, this is where I'm going to get bring my faith into it. For me, weakness could be God's doing. And it could be something that God wants you to overcome by using Him as your strength. So this is biblical in 2 Corinthians 12:9. Paul in the Bible, in the New Testament, talks about how he has a thorn in his side. We don't really know what this thorn is. I've been in more conversations than I could think. I know a lot of people who are certain that a thorn in his side means somebody who got on his nerves. I don't think of Paul like that, but maybe some people are convinced it's a medical condition that he has. It could be anything. But the reason God gave Paul this, whatever it is, this thorn that we don't know what it is in his side, was to keep him from becoming conceited. That's his own words. So maybe you have some weakness in your life that you personally can't overcome, and that's the reason. It's so that you don't become prideful in this particular area. And if you believe in God, what God says in the Bible is, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. So you don't have to fear weakness. If you follow the Lord, you don't have to fear weakness, because God is going to turn that weakness around to show his glory, not yours. So I have to say, and I have told you that with my workouts, they also took a turn for the better when I thought about working out as if unto God, when I dedicated my workouts to God, and I'm doing this for a better body and to be healthier and to maximize my potential, to become more excellent person. And when I can't do something, that I just prayed through it and did my best. I feel like it's God letting me know that, I built your body to be stronger, but your body is not going to be strong if you don't do anything with it. So you do the work, and I will build your excellence, and I will build your skill level. And so I think that for me, a lot of things turned around in that way. And I think also another area, for example, I don't feel great as a parent, and God just keeps, and I keep failing at the same way, but he keeps telling me, just do your best on raising your children, and leave the rest to me. Do what you need to do, and I'll do what I need to do to bring them to where they need to be. So that's a way that my weakness is that I'm human. I can't do it all. I can't afford every protocol in the world. I struggle with consistency. I struggle with praying. I struggle with reading scripture to my kids and all the things that you're supposed to do as a Christian mom. I struggle with feeding them. I hate cooking, but I'm doing the best that I can. And I'm just trying to leave the rest up to God, because I can only do so much. I can't do everything 24/7. I can do the best that I can do. Plus I work, right? And plus, I'm still going to the gym because I need something for me, and I need to keep up my strength, because being healthy and strong helps me to be there for them more. And I have a marriage to maintain, and I have friendships to maintain too. So you can't do it all, but do what you can, and what you're weak about. I just pray. I pray about the things that I'm weak about, because I know God will take care of them. If I'm still bringing my best to the table, then those things that I can't be the best at, I just put them in God's hands. Okay, so that's kind of it. That is different ways that weakness can be turned into strength, or through weakness, you can find strength. So here's the bottom line. Don't be ashamed of your weaknesses. Everybody has them, but look at them with a new perspective. Look at them. How can they teach you? What's hiding behind them? Is there something that maybe really isn't a weakness, but it's a hidden strength? Can you flip the paradigm on what you say about your weaknesses to turn it into something stronger, to turn it into a positive? And can you use your weakness to glorify God by letting him be the strong one, so that you don't have to carry anything? And you know what? If you're a mom, and ladies out there, I know a lot of you feel like this. Sometimes you feel like you need to carry everything. Stop it. You don't need to carry anything. Stop boasting about how strong you are and you can do it, because what happens is one day you get overwhelmed, and then you get enough overwhelm, and then you get burnout, and then you keel over, and you end up you end up sick, you end up, your immune system gets compromised, and then you can get anything from an allergy to a serious illness and anything in between. You can get adrenal fatigue, you'll stop sleeping, you'll stop taking care of yourself, and you can get really, really sick. I'm at high risk for stroke, so I have to be careful about that. But stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Do what you can, and don't be ashamed of being weak at something, because it's just another opportunity for God to shine, and it's an opportunity for you to take a break from something you don't know how to do, or to learn how to do it better. And we have to also, though, take everything in balance. So don't add that new strength into your life. Don't worry about that weakness unless you really have the space and you're really in a space where you want to grow and overcome and accomplish and achieve in a new way. Like I said, I'm 53, and I think part of this whole journey of becoming very different, I think it's got to do with menopause. They say that things change and we get more minded to overcome at menopause. Like, for example, a lot of women get divorced at this age. A lot of women change careers. You get this kind of energy of things need to be made new. And so I think that's a great time to be doing these things. But at the same time, don't overwhelm. Don't add on to your bucket if you're already feeling overwhelmed. But sit back and don't worry so much about your weaknesses. They are not a character flaw. They are a normal part of being human, and you can turn them into something better if you like. And that's it for today. So thank you so much for being here. Again, I'm Gina Vidality of Embracing Imperfect. If you enjoyed this, I hope you can share it. I hope you'll share it and tell your friends. It'll be up here on Facebook, of course. I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube. You can see all my past Facebook Live events on YouTube at youtube.com/momblog. That's MOMBLOG. And that's it for me. So thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you next Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have a topic you would like me to cover next week, go ahead and lay it on me, and I will share. I will do my best to cover that topic, but get it to me by about Tuesday, and I could do it Friday, or else it'll be the following week. So I hope you're having a wonderful summer, and I hope it's been a real rainy summer, and we finally have a sunny day. Praise God. So I hope you're having a great summer with your family, and just embrace the imperfect in your life by not sweating your weaknesses so much. Have a great day, and I will see you next week, same time, same channel. And thank you for listening. Hope you share this out, and I hope to see you on, go ahead and check out my YouTubes as well. See you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.